Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night, which means it must be time for Epic Sketch Time. I'm Pat McEwen, doing the temporary guest host duties tonight. Join with me tonight will be several cartoonists slash illustrators sketching epically for your enjoyment. Gentlemen, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Okay. I'm Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist slash illustrator, and I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies.
My name is Mark Monolix, and I'm a graphic facilitator, which is a $5 word for cartoonist. And I do a webcomic called The Comic Critic and The Return of Stickman, both of which are currently down right now because I'm having internet problems.
Bill?
I haven't had a chance to address them. I'm still trying to do my 2015 taxes.
Well, solvency comes first.
What's everybody working on tonight?
I am cranking out some stock art that I did the preliminary pencils on earlier. I'm sort of trying to catch up for lost time. I had a relatively unproductive day, so sort of ended up doing mostly some web maintenance, and so got a little bit behind on the actual drawing thing.
I have besides the monster series I did, I had a series of alien illustrations, and I'm going through and cleaning up the black and whites, and I thought tonight I would work at creating the end template for that. And one of the things I'm doing differently on this series is, in the previous series, I hand drew the border, and didn't like the look of that on the card as much. It was hard to center as well. So I'm doing a mechanical border. I'm sort of like going to do that large and have it drop in.
So is this still the playing?
Monsters on a background layer, and that way I'll have all the frames the exact same size.
So this is still the playing. Is this still the deck or something else?
This is still a deck of cards, but it's for the obscure movie Aliens versus the obscure movie Monsters.
Oh, so you're doing two sets?
Yeah, I'll probably end up doing two sets, even if I got the art for the second set. The inking's already done, so I might as well. I'm just itching to work on them, even if they may not prove to be viable. Even if the first deck of cards flops dead on the marketplace, I still feel the need to complete out this project. I've also learned a lot about how to make my coloring go faster. So I think what I'll do is establish more of a consistent color palette and just do drop fills for the most part. That'll speed things up.
I'll be interested to hear how that experiment goes. I'm always interested in finding ways to speed up my coloring.
And Pat, what are you working on tonight?
Well, it's funny. So I've been trying to actually draw and ink some comic pages, and then when I get on here, I try to do either some coloring or some lettering and speech balloons. And I'm working on a 2-page comic spread, so I'm still in the pencil stages of that. So tonight I'm actually working on doing an ad to go into a indie comic preview magazine called Make Mine Indie, which is made by the fine folks over at Alterna Comics. And they've been trying this out. There was a summer issue, and then there's a fall issue coming up. So it's kind of like the comics previews magazine that you see in comic shops, and where they do these solicits so you know what codes to tell your local comic shop how to order the comics that you want. So they're doing this for like independent comic creators. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Ooh, hello there.
I see Stowe has made it.
Ah. Ah. Oh, yeah. And let me, just a brief aside, let me introduce you all to my boss for the week. Say hi, Suno.
Ew, I don't have a picture for you.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Let me see. Come here. She made a break for it, never mind.
Can I assume that's a cat?
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed you can. Yes, Sono?
So the cat's name is Sono?
Yeah, I think it's one of I think she's named after one of the islands out.
So, not your cat.
No. She is one of the main reasons I'm house sitting right now. And pretty much what's keeping me around rather than just visiting on a daily basis because she hasn't figured out how to get in, how to let herself in to eat the dry that's always available. Oh, there we go.
So if you take a look at my screen, you'll see that the creature in question is called the green slime.
Here she is. Say hi, Sono.
Oh, she's quite the friendly individual.
Well, not quite, but she puts up with me, which is, and I think that's all she'll do for her stage appearance for tonight. I think I've impinged on her dignity one too many times.
So the actor, I'm not sure if either of you are familiar with the Bob Newhart show,
Oh, yes.
but there was an actor who was on that show who played the really grumpy, depressed
Oh,
client.
yeah, Mr. Carlson, wasn't it?
Yep. And he also was one of the lead characters in the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah. Don't tell me he's another victim of this year.
Yes, he is another victim of this year, though his health has been in decline in the last 10 years rather significantly.
Uh-huh.
But I did a number of voiceover projects. For cartoons and the like. Did Stowe come on and then go off again?
I don't know.
Since movies are a regular topic, I finally got around to watching Bridesmaids.
Oh, so how is that?
I was not impressed.
I mean, I was enthusiastic about essentially what they were saying about females being allowed to be rude and women being allowed to be rude and crude as well. But then again, I don't think I've ever been for rudeness and crudeness. Though on a similar topic, I just saw the new Ghostbusters, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
Did you see it by yourself or did you go with friends?
I went with a friend. As a matter of fact, I'd been putting it off for some time because of that friend's schedule. But Kate McKinnon is amazing.
Is she the one that plays Eon?
Yen, she plays Holtzman, who is kind of the Egon niche,
Okay.
though she is also very different from Egon. I mean, the Egon character is more of a kind. The script describes him as a New Age Mr. Spock, whereas Holtzman is very much a mad scientist character. And I also saw the new Leica animated film, Kubo and the Two Strings, which was very pretty. And as far as known films that people put off, I finally saw Chariots of Fire this week.
In the same week, back when they were in the theaters, I saw Chariots of Fire and Quest for Fire.
Oh, wow! I wish I thought of that mashup. That would have been interesting. Either that or Chariots of Fire, and one of those, Chariots of the Gods of some sort, though, now that I say it, the only film I know of that's specifically based on Van Daniken is Battlestar Galactica.
Well, the funny thing was when I went to go see Chariots of Fire,
Mm-hmm.
I had misread the marquee, and I was trying to get in to see Quest of Fire, but I ended up in Chariots of Fire instead. So
That is an interesting mistake.
What is Quest of Fire? I'm not familiar.
It's a movie about cavemen searching for fire, starring Ron. Damn, I love the guy's work, and I'm blanking.
Ron Jeremy.
No. Hellboy.
Ron Perlman.
Yes.
And it's fairly factual. I'm sure it happened verbatim, just how they described it.
Well, it was the rage at the time. Clan of the Cavemen was pretty popular at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, the book Clan of the Caveman was very popular at that time. Although, no, it was
Clan of the Cave Bear.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen it, they're both fun films.
Clan of the Cave Bear? I thought that was a pretty mediocre adaptation.
No, I meant Quest for Fire and Chariots for Fire.
Yeah, because wasn't Clan of the Cave Bear just another excuse to see Bo Derek in a leather bikini?
I thought she did better in that one than she did.
Tarzan the Ape Man?
Yes. That wasn't Tarzan the Ape Man, it was Greystoke. Wasn't it?
No, Greystoke was a different one. That one was actually really good. Greystoke was the one with the great animatronic chimp suits.
They used real chimps in that one, too.
Only as the children, I believe.
No, they used wash-up. The reason it was premiered in Ellensburg, Washington was because a lot of the chimps that they used on set were chimps from the university that could speak sign language, that could actually give directions to them.
But then the chimps unionized, and it just all went downhill.
Oh, I'm actually having some images of just how to spoof Planet of the Apes there, where the apes unite and whatnot, but instead of tearing down society, negotiate for a better contract.
Yesterday, Stu and I go to a drawing group that he started in Tacoma called Freelance Fandango. It's less of a drawing group, more like a freelancers get-together, but he and I use it to sit down and work on projects. There's a couple people who just show up constantly to grill us about freelance work. Anyway, the place at the coffee house we normally go to, which has been absolutely wonderful for our needs because seat enough of us. It had unexpectedly closed its door permanently over the weekend.
Oh, that happened to one of the bars I used to go to for that politics group. So, not even enough warning to find someplace at short notice?
No, I mean, the place was open on Friday, and the sign was hastily drafted and on the door saying, sorry, the TOs is closed indefinitely. Thank you for your many years of patronage. Wasn't even signed. It was just quickly drafted and posted. Something similar happened at another store here in Tacoma called Nerdy Stuffs, which was sort of like a comic book gaming store. And I was talking to the owner of that store about restocking some things on Saturday, and when I went there on Monday, they were closed. So something happened on Sunday that just was catastrophic. Because they were at a little mini convention, they were tabling, and everything seemed fine, hunky and dory then. And I never did find out why exactly it closed, but I think it's because the owner got some bad health news.
If that was the case, that sucks big time.
Just a theory on my part. I might be completely wrong.
It's like Jim Stowe snuck into the.
Just now, yes. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight?
All right.
Sorry I'm late.
So what was your family doing tonight?
We were just eating with the in-laws, dropping the kids off for the night. So that's how much I care about you guys. I didn't go out on a date. I came here right after.
Oh.
That's right.
I just remembered a conversation topic to bring up, and now that Jim has joined the group, I'll bring it up now. I've seen, and I don't think this is anything new, but it's funny how certain topics get new life brought to them, and I saw a bunch of tweets on Twitter and a lot of conversation about how some artists using the Cintiqs are like having like detached retina problems, and there's like more attention being brought to like having proper backlighting and resting your eyes, and how somehow in the fine print of the Cintiq paperwork it even says like, yeah, you should only use this for like 4 hours a day, which is kind of ridiculous if you're making your living by doing digital illustration.
Yeah, if I only look at this thing for 4 hours a day, I don't know how to.
Do you have any eye issues with yours?
Well, I've always had like glasses and stuff, but I don't know. I haven't noticed any additional eye strain since using a Cintiq, and I've been using one for at least 3 years now. But before that, I was just using a laptop and uh, like a drawing pad. Huh, that's interesting. Because they need another problem.
While I have a Cintiq, I'm not on it all day long. I use 2 monitors, and I'm not constantly drawing on the Cintiq. I only get on there occasionally. I would say certainly no more than 4 hours a day. So, but I'm wondering if this is something about monitors in general, or is there something specifically deadly with the Cintiq monitor?
No, I think it is something you get with any kind of monitor. You know, I've had to adjust my monitor at work, the distance it is from me, I think just because of like the focal point of my eyes and my glasses, I was getting some eye strain. But I think part of it too is, you know, if you're putting down fine lines, I mean, I don't own a Cintiq. I don't own an LCD pressure monitor, but I could see how some people like are pretty darn close to the actual monitor, much closer than you would be from a computer screen.
Sure, I'd say I'm about a foot away from my screen right now.
Okay.
Which is, more than I would say somebody with just a monitor would be.
My eye is about 15 to 18 inches away. And that could be because of my glasses. I have to back up a little bit to see it just right. Could be how I sit, too.
That's fascinating. I had no idea.
Yeah, apparently detached retinas are the malady of choice for people using. And again, I think Mark is right. It is definitely connected to any kind of computer monitor usage if you look at a computer screen for too long, too often. But I think also there's something about having. I saw some artists kind of chiming in and saying, yeah, you really have to like position your lighting, so you want to almost get some backlighting around the Cintiq.
I was going to say it sounds a lot like how they used to say you shouldn't watch television in the dark.
Right.
Huh. Well, I know that more often than not, the Cintiq is like the only light source I have.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm now the worst case scenario for this particular malady.
Your retinas are just holding on by a thread at this
That's right. Goodness gracious.
Well, now when you go for that, basic health care coverage, you'll make sure to get the eye insurance.
Yeah, right?
It'd be weird if there was like you started to see like comic creators walking around with like weird eye bandages and special glasses because of a wave of eye issues going around. So you show up at like Baltimore Comic-Con and you see a bunch of like comic creators walking around with special glasses and bandaged eyes. Like, oh yeah, you have detached retinas too? Yeah, me too. Okay.
That's crazy.
That reminds me of the time I went to the Puyallup Fair to attend the Tony Bennett concert. So we all go in, it's nice and sunshiny, and then the paratroopers come in and they paratroop in to, while you're waiting for the show to start, they always do a little bit of.
What?
Yeah, at the Puyallup. Haven't you ever gone to a concert at the Puyallup Fair?
I have, but I've never seen paratroopers. What are you talking
No,
about?
there was always some guy um, uh, diving in with a parachute. And
What?
players,
I haven't either. I mean, I understand the concept, but
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually a thing.
wow. So I've been lucky that every time I've gone to a concert, this is what I see.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's uniquely you.
yeah, I haven't been to the Puyallup in years. I keep
So
needing to.
I was, it got dark, and I decided to stand up and stretch my legs a little bit. And, the sun was setting, and it was getting fairly dark, and I turned around and I about have a little heart attack because there's like 4,000 glowing eyes staring back at me, and I realized, oh, this is a demographic where everybody's wearing glasses, and the sunset's reflecting on their lenses.
Oh, for a second I thought you were going to say, and they were all looking at their phones, and their phones were reflecting off their glasses.
I don't know, this demographic, they don't have phones.
Yep.
They're like my parents. My parents live way out in the boondocks, and they don't get good cell reception, so they do have a cell phone, but they only take it with them when they go driving, so that in case they're in an accident, they can, make an emergency call. They have sort of like one of those track phones. Yes, that's right. My parents carry a burner.
They're drug dealers.
Call from 800 service.
Oh my goodness. I know that's you, Mark.
That's not me, that's Bill.
Ah.
Because Bill is house sitting
Oh, really?
and cannot control his phones. Because they're not his phones. You missed the part where he was introducing us to the cat that he was house sitting for.
Oh, yeah. I definitely miss that. We're introducing cats. I'll introduce my two annoying cats.
Yeah. I do it again, but after 2 times, I think she's wise to me.
And how do the guinea pigs fare at your place, though?
They fare very well. They get fed on a regular basis. They haven't been eaten by any felines. They're doing all right.
And would you be so kind as to share to this group why guinea pigs instead of hedgehogs?
Why get well? Because I've owned a hedgehog before, and they are just basically like grunting cactuses. They are not good pets. I mean, no offense to anybody who likes a hedgehog, but I do not understand the appeal of them, and I've owned one. Whereas guinea pigs are like warm little friendly rodent burritos. They're just adorable little tubes of fur that eat like a metric ton of hay every single day. So there you go. More than you've ever wanted to know about hedgehogs. And does anybody else own a rodent?
Had a hamster once.
That doesn't count.
I had hamsters and a mouse.
So you own basically snake food.
Yes. Rescued pinkies, as it were, which in the shop trade is the name they give for the small baby mice that they sell to
Feeder mice.
feeder mice.
Yep. I've owned a lot of rodents in my day. I like rodents a lot.
I had rats that I was very fond of.
I had a rat that was easily one of my favorite pets of all time.
Yeah. Henrietta, Mrs. Frisbee, Henrietta, and BC.
You know, I've known so many rats named after people, characters from Nim.
Yeah.
Like, that is a very common thing to do.
In my defense, I didn't name them. I was the rescuer of the lab experiment.
Uh,
It was the high. It is. I'm sure everybody did it. It was the annual high school nutrition experiment.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Like,
one rat was
literally.
fed. One rat was fed junk food. The other was fed good stuff, and the difference is quite amazing.
Wait, so which rat did you inherit?
I got both of them.
Oh, okay. Like, oh, I
And
got the
just out of
reflex.
curiosity, Bill, which rat lived longer?
I I don't know because my when I went to college, my dad gave them to a friend, so I honestly don't know their fate.
They went to a farm upstate.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely not our normal type of conversation, talking about pets and what have you.
Well, we already covered the movie topics.
Oh, did you?
So if
what,
you have any thoughts on
what did you see?
well, I'm kind of curious to know, without my feedback or anybody else's, what you thought of Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids? I did not enjoy it, but you know, I thought Melissa McCarthy was funny in it, and that was the first time I think I ever saw her in anything. But the overall movie, and it's too bad because I really like Kristen Wiig, but I really did not like that particular movie.
Yeah, I mean, most of with the exception of Ghostbusters that I've just seen, my main exposure to Kristen Wiig was her voice work. But
Now, I loved Ghostbusters.
oh, yeah, me too. I mean, that was a very pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to like it at all, to be honest. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I actually liked the conceit of this particular bunch of Ghostbusters more than the other ones. Like, it made sense why they would have developed the weapons that they developed, whereas in the first movie, you never really understood why they had traps and stuff. They just had them. They were just there.
Yeah, whereas this one definitely showed signs that there were stages of development and
Yeah,
experimentation,
no, absolutely, exactly.
and
I thought that was great.
and the fact and made it more into that they were actual scientists. Whereas I think Ghostbusters came out at a time when parapsychology was hip, and
Right, you got the feeling they didn't really, especially Venkman.
Venkman,
He was a con artist. He didn't care.
yeah.
So there are no Gilmore Girl fans in this crowd, then.
Never watched it enough to have an opinion about it.
Never watched it. It was definitely in the period of time where I didn't watch television, and even if I did, that would probably not have been the show I would have watched.
My wife was a big Gilmore fan.
There is a distinct lack of monsters and aliens in Gilmore Girls, I would imagine.
That you know of.
That I know of, having never seen the show.
There might have been some overarching subtle subplot about hidden aliens in the town and never noticed.
Sure, you never know.
Oh.
I'm not going to give away any spoilers because I want you guys to watch Gilmore Girls. I'm sorry.
Wait. I clearly missed something. What did you say, Mark?
I said I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to give away any spoilers. because clearly I want you both to see Gilmore Girls, and
Why in the world would you want us to watch Gilmore Girls?
Is this the,
I
are you
found it to
talk,
be a very fun show.
are you talking about the reboot that I've heard rumors about, or
No, I'm talking about the original Gilmore Girls.
There is a Gilmore Girls reboot?
I
Yeah,
heard
they're
rumors.
working on a reboot
Huh.
where it's a continuation of the Gilmore Girls, and I believe it's going to be on Netflix.
You know, if somebody said, you know what we'd be talking about tonight at an Epic Sketch Time? Gilmore Girls and guinea pigs. I would never have said, oh yeah, that's going to be our topic of conversation for sure.
Well, at least we talked about Ghostbusters.
There you go.
And another fun note, I was just telling the others that I had seen Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, how is that? I love their movies.
It is gorgeous. I mean, I could probably nitpick on the plot a little bit, but I'd probably have to see it again. I mean, the problem with for me with movies like this, I'm taking in the art so much that I frequently miss the plot.
Sure, sure. So, if you were to rank it with their other films, where would it fall?
Ooh. I think I'd put it right in the middle. And that's probably not fair of me, and I might be being judgmental because it's very much a different. It comes off as a different genre. I mean, it comes off as completely. What?
I would say that's for sure. It definitely feels different than anything they've attempted before.
I mean, I can't say I'm sort of. I think I'm contradicting myself right here. I mean, I first thought that I was about to say that it was the first one that didn't come off as a comedy to me, but then I'm taking that back because Coraline definitely wasn't a comedy.
Sure.
And
I would definitely say that Box Trolls and Paranorman have comedic elements.
yes.
But all the trailers made me think that so did this movie.
Yeah, the bits about the monkey, but then again, they were doing the tete-a-tete between the two sidekicks, but the monkey
Right.
is
And
very
they played that up.
serious. But I mean, I don't think it is based on any real folktale, though it sort of reminded me a little bit of the story of Momotaro. But otherwise, it's a very nice recreation of the style of a Japanese folktale.
That's cool. Yeah, I love their stuff.
Yeah, no, they've yet to do a dud for me at all. I mean, I have a few friends who don't like Box Trolls because they think that the villain's disguise is a attack on transsexualism, but.
Oh, that's interesting.
I like the part in the Box Trolls during the credits where the
Oh, I know that's
characters are talking about existence and.
Yeah, that is super cool. And just goes to show you their process.
Oh, it's amazing.
It astounds me that they're just down in Portland.
Yeah, I mean, huh.
I wish they could force.
I mean, but considering their production, they can't have any more than two projects going on at a time, I would guess.
Right.
Considering how long that takes. But I like the fact that they're definitely being experimental with their choice of project. I mean, as far as aiming at if you're going in for aiming at the lowest common denominator, I would have never, as a producer in it for the money, I would have never considered Box Trolls.
Yeah, they're definitely not DreamWorks animation.
No, Oh God, don't get me. I like DreamWorks good stuff, but all of the other stuff is
Yeah,
just.
we know what we're talking about.
Yes, we know what we're talking about. For a while, I
There's a
thought
good stuff department in DreamWorks and a bad stuff department in DreamWorks.
it sometimes feels like it, doesn't it? I mean, on one level, they're doing the standard dumb, pop culture references, and then they turn around and do another Kung Fu Panda movie.
It definitely feels like those movies are made with focus group, like a lot of research.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do now that would aim at the most amount of consumers? Oh, how about pets? Let's do pets.
In their defense, that one wasn't their fault, but that idea, but your point remains, yes.
And I cannot stand the minions. I cannot take them.
Oh, it really
I
turned
do
into
not
a
like the
nanny,
minions. Yes.
it turned into a nanny film, didn't it?
A nanny film? What is a nanny film?
A nanny film is a children's movie you put on and then walk away from because you know your kids will watch it for 2 hours.
I would never subject my children to that movie again. Man, my wife is in the background, just like, what? How can you not like the kids would be shocked if they were to find out.
I enjoyed the Minions as comic relief, but I refuse to watch that particular movie. Yes.
That Minions movie.
What, you are bad-mouthing the Minions without actually seeing the movie?
I've seen both the Despicable Me movies, so I'm not being a complete hypocrite here.
But the Minions are great in the Despicable Me movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
What, you don't consider them the penguins of Madagascar?
No, case in point. They're more like the lemurs of Madagascar. And yet again, another quality DreamWorks product.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I wasn't particularly a fan of the television show, but the movie was better than I expected.
Wait, of what? The Penguin movie?
Penguins of Madagascar.
I was not a fan of that, no.
I'm not either. I'm just saying it wasn't as bad as I expected. Well, it's weird. I sort of watched it, and, well, when I say I watched it, I frequently have some I occasionally use some animated films as a screensaver when I'm working on my on the non-virtual drawings.
Gotcha. I at least have the excuse that I have children and they really want to see these movies. But in general, DreamWorks really has to do something unique to wow me. I liked The Secret Life of Pets. Despite me having a hard time with the whole concept of, well, this just feels like it's marketed to the lowest common denominator. But the actual movie was okay. But the marketing campaign around it was really terrible.
Yeah, I'm still seeing the damn toys at Barnes & Noble.
Sure, yeah. I think maybe that's my major problem with DreamWorks, is that they just feel like they're more a marketing thing than they are anything else. So, oh yeah, that's right. I watched the Netflix movie The Little Prince.
Oh, Oh, I forgot all about that. It looked good.
It was pretty good. I liked it.
Well,
Any idea why they didn't bother with an American market with that?
I don't really understand why they, because it was well made.
It was
Did you ever,
closed for release, and then they pulled it from release.
Oh, is that the story behind it?
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you-
there were previews of it in the theaters.
Huh.
did you ever see the Ray Winston one? I've only ever, and I don't even know if it's a full length one. I've only ever seen clips of it in documentaries about Ray Winston, not Ray Winston, claymation.
Really?
Well, I saw a live action movie of the little.
Yeah, the Lerner and Lowe one with Gene Wilder as the fox and Bob Fosse as the serpent.
Huh.
It's actually quite good. I mean, a few of the songs are pretty cheesy, but it definitely keeps the original flavor.
Now, I would say that about this one is that they definitely embellish quite a bit of story to what I remember, at least, of The Little Prince. There's a lot of tacked on story element, but it wasn't necessarily unwelcomed story element. But if you're just going in looking for The Little Prince and just that story, I think you'll be disappointed.
Hmm.
So what is everybody working on tonight? I know it's way late to ask that question, but
Well, if you look to my screen, you'll see something that you saw me working on at one of our drawing sessions before.
yeah, I think you're doing cleanup at this point, aren't you?
Right. So this is from a movie called The Green Slime.
Huh.
And as you can imagine, it's going to be green.
Any particular shades?
Dark forest green.
Ah.
Though I think I'll try to liven it up and make it look a little bit more slimy.
It looks like you're working on Rhapsodies, right, Bill?
Yeah.
And what do you have up, Patrick?
Well, this is something I did like a month or two ago, actually, for Jim Kersey's comic, who is conspicuously absent tonight from Epic Sketch Time.
That's really nice looking.
Yeah, I like how it turned out. This is actually his drawing of the spaceship and his drawing of the robots, and
Everything else?
I did everything else using like free public domain images and layers and all kinds of stuff.
I gotta ask because it's killing the graphic designer in me, but the in the Amok Brothers, it's meant to be on a different.
Yes.
Okay, it's killing me. I'm looking at it and it's just driving me crazy.
So, if you take a look at my screen, can any of you recognize this particular fellow?
Huh. Looks
Yeah, that's the bad taste guy.
Now, you weren't just reading the top caption there, were you?
I'm not. I love that movie.
What
Back
movie?
before The Hobbit, man, he made some interesting films.
Was that Raggedy Ann and Andy?
Wait,
What?
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. No, I'll shut up now.
Uh,
When you said Hobbit, I assumed you meant Rankin Bass,
Oh, wow.
as opposed to Peter Jackson.
Yep.
I'll shut up now.
I'm not sure whether that dates you or just makes you kind of an elitist. I'm not sure.
I'll have you know I took a class with the designer at RISD. So yeah, maybe a little snobby, but sentimental about it for other reasons.
Sure. So you're working on your aliens then, Mark?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to start plopping them. I thought I would do them when I'm on the evenings in this thing, during epic sketch time.
Well, don't detach your retinas or anything. That's right, it's callback time on epic sketch time. I'm sorry, I missed the whole first half an hour. I got to make up for that. And who's hosting tonight? Is it Pat?
It is I.
I thank you very much for hosting tonight. I'm glad I could make it, and I'm glad you could host for me. I appreciate that.
Speaking of hosting, it is 8:30, and I am going to sign off. And that is by one of the freakiest. What is it? A zombie spirit werewolf ghost?
So for my son's birthday, he asked if I would design him some Pokemon-like creatures, except he named all of them and drew some stuff that he wanted me to draw. So this is the basic starter version, the Wereghost, and then it evolves into the Lycangeist.
That is clever.
Yeah, right? Let's see if I want to show you some more. So this is for his birthday. Then there is so it's supernatural, superheroes, and superfoods. That's clever of him too, right?
Assuming that was a bread golem of some sort.
It's a biscuit, and then it evolves into a sausage biscuit, and then it evolves into biscuits and sausage gravy. And then let's see, do I have the superheroes? I did. Let me see. Yep. Wait.
Captain.
So we start with RoboSys. Now, Grant, these are all his designs. I just drew them. RoboSys, and RoboSys turns into RoboPyratosis. Well, he knows how to pronounce these things. And then RoboPyratosis turns into Captain RoboPyratosis.
I was suddenly having images of starting out with the bratty robot little sister and then upgrade to the obnoxious older teenage sister who was always on the phone.
Yeah, no, he didn't do that. He went straight pirate with it. I'm not sure why he did that, but... So there we go. And then I'm doing an alternate version of all of them. So this is RoboUFOsis. That's her probe. I find that very disturbing.
So you're not going to go at all highbrow or geeky and go with Sisyphus or?
I'm just drawing what he created. So here's the alternate version of the sausage biscuit. It's the veggie sausage biscuit. Yeah. And then the alternate version of the supernatural thing I'm making is, instead of the Lycangeist, it's the Poultrygeist.
That one's been done. I've seen various versions of it on different shows.
Yep.
So will the Poultrygeist be Sam's head or have a head?
Oh, that'd be great if it was headless. That'd be hilarious. All right, he's totally headless.
Oh.
Anyways, gentlemen, it's been fun. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think I'm going to get out of here too. I'm Sans kids tonight, so I'm going to make the most of that.
Okay, enjoy.
A great night, and I will see you next week.
Okay.
Ending the broadcast. Good night, everybody.
Good night.